One knight, one digging apparatus. Shovel Knight is the cerulean warrior on a quest to stop the enchantress and her wicked posse, the Order of No Quarter. Wait, that's their name? That's kinda funny. Next you're gonna tell me there's a guy named Chester that lives in treasure chests. Ha! Oh. Behind Shovel Knight's kick-ass Viking helmet and blood-soaked spade lies a heart of gold and a lost love, Shield Knight. The two heroes had once kept evil at bay, but a chance encounter at the Tower of Fate caused Shield Knight's disappearance. Without his beloved, Shovel Knight fell into a depression so deep that he became a farmer. As time wore on, the Enchantress and her order took over the land, and now Shovel Knight must defeat them if he wants a chance to see his love again. So the stage is set for an epic 8-bit adventure. But how the hell is a steroid-induced NES game still relevant today? In order to answer that question, we got our hands dirty, did some digging, and unburied the story you never knew. Now I know what you're thinking. How can Shovel Knight have any deeper meaning? Are these guys just gonna make a bunch of digging puns and probably say something stupid about Diglett? I mean, look at him! There's a digging joke in there somewhere. In reality, there's a lot more to Shovel Knight than meets the eye. Sure, his gameplay is so reminiscent of the NES it's scary, but is that any reason to shrug off a game that was nominated for multiple Game of the Year awards? Shovel Knight's quest is much more relevant in today's world than this guy who we put in every video. And it all starts with the intro level, the Plains. Now, normally when you start a game, there's a bunch of talking, explaining how to do this, do that, look this way, look that way. Oh, would you like to try inverted? Hell no! Who plays inverted? I digress. Video games nowadays come with instructions after instructions. The game teaches you how to play so that the player isn't lost. But look at Shovel Knight's intro level. No instructions, no rules. And that's what makes it so incredible. The level teaches you all of Shovel Knight's abilities without ever explicitly telling you how to play. Just look at this part of the level. Oh no! How can I get down there? Well, this earth looks different than the rest of the ground, but I can't dig it. Oh, I got a little bouncy move. Fancy. And so Shovel Knight advances through the rest of the intro level, fighting off green slime balls, skeleton warriors, beetles, and a giant bubble-blowing dragon. That's how you know it's an intro level, kids. If a dragon is blowing bubbles at you, it's probably not the last level. As our hero exits the stage, a nefarious evildoer confronts him, but of course gets shoveled to death. Oh, I guess he's still alive after all. That cocky bastard in the dashing red and black is Black Knight, and serves as a rival of sorts. I fear we'll meet again. With the intro level behind us, let's take a look at everything we've learned. We know how to attack, jump, down thrust, dig up dirt, find secrets, and defeat enemies. All without a single hint of instruction. It's design choices like this that make the player learn without ever distinctly teaching them that propelled Shovel Knight to fame. Nearly every level is like this, teaching us how to play without ever having to stop our gameplay. This is an old-school gaming idea, unlike more recent games where not only are there 10 buttons on a controller, but each button does something uniquely different. I'm not saying this is bad, but it does require explanation, which is why so many games in our age have it. Shovel Knight is a throwback to the long-lost age of 8-bit gaming. But what separates it from those old-school classics? Is there anything new here, or are we just rehashing overdone material? Before we call a spade, let's dive back into the plot. With many techniques already at Shovel Knight's disposal, the Knight of Shovelry is ready to face a real challenge. The Order of No Quarter. There's 8 of these bad boys, each coming with their own level and boss battle, Mega Man style. Upset with their serious lack of gumballs, the 8 baddies are between you and your goal, to defeat the Enchantress and reunite with Shield Knight. Now that everyone's been reminded of the point of the game, we've got some shoveling to do. Shovel Knight journeys to Pridemore Keep and easily disposes of King Knight, the arrogant false king who is the first of the Order of No Quarter to feel your shoveled wrath. Next is the Lich Guard, a spooky level where somebody keeps turning out the lights! Stop doing that! I can't shovel what I can't see! If only I had an item that kept me from taking damage! Huzzah! I take back what I said about you, Chester. You're all right. This is the Phase Locket. When used, it keeps you from taking damage for a short time. Each level contains an item found in a secret location, with each item matching the theme of the level. Finding these items is just one example that makes the game feel like an adventure. But there's more. There's a choice of whether you'd like to take on this stage or that stage, of what to buy from the shops, of what items to use. No boss in Shovel Knight has just one way to defeat it. It's very reminiscent of Zelda: A Link to the Past. While every boss can be beaten, there are better ways to beat some. But that doesn't mean it's impossible without a certain item. And Shovel Knight doesn't always make the items easy to find. Just look at my first run through the game! How the fuck did I miss 6 items? I mean, you can go back to the village and buy every item from Chester after you beat its corresponding level, but is that any way to play a game? No. Missing secrets in the level really gives you a sense of adventure and gets you excited to play the game over again. We're a quarter of the way through the Order of No Quarter. Only 3/4 of the Order of No Quarter left. Ugh, that was a mouthful. Of quarters! Oh god, I can't believe I have to say this shit!
That is probably the stupidest thing we've ever written.
This will really fuck with him.
Okay, you get the pattern by now. Each level has increasingly difficult platforming with a boss battle at the end, reminiscent of games of a bygone age. Next, Treasure Knight falls to our mighty spade. Gimme yo money, bitch! Plague Knight steps up to the plate, only to get destroyed by our mighty what the fuck, how am I supposed to beat this guy? Mole Knight gets outdug. Polar Knight experiences global warming. I just went Al Gore on your ass! Tigger Knight's toys break, and Propeller Knight gets blown away. You got worried, didn't you? Wow, Shovel Knight sure is a swell guy. He can dig up gems, he can dig up enemies, he can dig up gold, and he can dig up the worst spoilers you've ever seen. Get ready, people! Warning in case you didn't get that joke, there are spoilers in this video. With the order out of the way, there's only one knight standing between you and your goal. Black Knight, that good-looking son of a bitch we met after the first level. This is our 3rd encounter with him. Yes, I skipped over the 2nd one. And he's been a bigger challenge each time. After the most epic game of tennis ever, Black Knight reveals he's really not a bad guy after all. He just wanted to protect Shield Knight. But wait, I don't understand. He's been saying the whole game he wanted to protect the Enchantress. Oh, God, no! It can't be! Shield Knight is the Enchantress! Ugh! Still reeling from this twist of fate, Shovel Knight must climb the Tower of Fate and do battle with his long-lost lover and free her from the evil magic that binds her. After a difficult and treacherous climb up the tower and an extremely satisfying boss rush, he meets his foe. Using all the skills and prowess he's gained on his long journey, Shovel Knight bests the Enchantress and she explodes in all her 8-bit glory. Evolving like a Pokemon, Shield Knight breaks from her evil cocoon and descends. You catch her, reminiscent of the dreams I never told you about. Your reunion is short-lived, however, as this evil thing gives one last hurrah. With your powers combined, Shovel and Shield defeat the thingy, but as our blue hero begins to exit the crumbling tower, he takes a magic blast to the face that leaves him defenseless. Shield Knight puts herself in front of the blast, seemingly sacrificing herself for him. Luckily, our strapping rival Black Knight arrives on the scene and is convinced by Shield to bring Shovel to safety. Seems like Black Knight turned out to be a White Knight, am I right? With that, the screen fades to black. I guess blinds to black, and the credits roll. But before the ending screen, we find a wounded shield knight limping towards our injured hero, and she falls asleep next to him under a starry sky. And so ends Shovel Knight's quest. But let's throw some analysis onto that plot. You're a knight, your significant other gets saved, and you go through fire, ice, and trowel dances to get her back. There's another knight who seems evil who you fight multiple times, and he gets better each fight, just like you do. Pretty normal stuff. No one is giving Shovel Knight a prize for outstanding plot development. This simple plot is very reminiscent of other highly valued gaming experiences. Mario, for example, or Mega Man, or Castlevania. Was there really an in-depth plot to any of these? No, but their gameplay was so flawless that it propelled these games to stardom. The same can be said for Shovel Knight, and the references to these old games are numerous. Just look at all these. Castlevania-style entrees, Zelda full health projectile, Mario jumping stance, Super Mario 3 overworld layout, DuckTales pogo attack, Pokemon's fishing rod. Okay, that last one wasn't on the NES. Still cool though. My point is, Shovel Knight took so many game mechanics from all these older titles. It really does seem like Shovel Knight is a new and improved NES game. It's almost as if they went back to the roots of gaming, picked out the best characteristics from the top-rated games of the time, and created an entirely new game based off these characteristics. If only there was a word for going back to the original philosophies of an era and expanding upon them. Something like a rebirth. A renaissance! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Shovel Knight is exactly that. The renaissance of gaming. In a world that is suffocating under difficult plot lines, overcomplicated game mechanics, and unbelievably long load times. Okay, can I play it? I just died. Aren't you supposed to die all the time in this game? Still waiting. This isn't a joke, people! It actually takes this long! Shovel Knight borrows everything we've always loved about gaming from the classic games of a time long past, and expands upon them to create a new age game based in a retro world. Instead of becoming more complex, it simplified. Instead of adding more actions, it limited action to 2 buttons. Instead of pushing the envelope of what our consoles can show in terms of graphics, it brought us back to the classic graphics so many of us began with. Shovel Knight, the stoic hero turned bland farmer turned stoic hero that saved a general area from certain destruction. He took the best game mechanics of a forgotten era and combined them into one of the best platformers of all time. Shovel Knight wasn't a rehash, it was a rebirth. And out of the womb rose the quintessential NES game of our age. His blood-splattered spade brought forth a new way of gaming, the old way. And that's the story you never knew.
What's up, everybody? We hope you liked the video. Now, for this outro, I've got a little demonstration for you guys. So, Grant, you're the only one down here. I need a little help.
No, absolutely not.
Come on, man. Come on. It's for the YouTubes. It's for the YouTubes. I'm filming. Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So, for all intents and purposes, this is my shovel. I apologize in advance, but I told you I wanted to do the voiceover!